Oregon or UNLV to meet them. And let's take a look at the starting lineups first, Doug, with the Oregon Ducks.
Well, the Ducks are starting a very young backcourt in a hostile environment. Jonathan Lloyd, the Vegas kid, comes home. But Dominic Artis and Damon Dotson, the future of Oregon's program, can they get into the offense and get the ball inside to E.J. Singler? Of course, his brother played at Duke, and E.J. is so effective, used at the 2, the 3, and the 4.
Well, the Rebels, they have a combination lineup. They have Anthony Marshall, a lot of experience, but Kate Reinhardt, freshman guard, Bryce Dijon-Jones, the transfer from USC, I think is going to be tremendous. Can Anthony Marshall handle the point? But now that front court, Anthony Bennett, a true 5-man, and naturally Mike Moser, who's been terrific since last year.
And a true freshman in Anthony Bennett, another Las Vegas guy, and, well, knows quite a bit about Las Vegas, Nevada. Dave Rice, in his second season, he's come back home where he played some basketball and won a national championship back in 1990 with Jerry Tarkanian and company. Dana Altman, in his third year, 24th overall as a head coach, the winningest coach in the history of Creighton basketball. Time for our opening tip, brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. The Runnin' Rebels in their white unis in front of a packed out Thomas and Mack Center. And, well, it is Black Friday after all, so the Ducks going all black. What a great venue for college basketball when they get rocking for their Runnin' Rebels. Well, immediately, guys, a question that we had coming in: can Marshall handle that spot? He looks good on his first touch.
And can Lloyd handle Marshall? Lloyd is tiny. He's at best 5'8". Marshall, the big question, Marshall is handling pressure.
You know, Marshall can handle it to score. The question is, can he handle it and get something for someone else? Right. That's more the issue.
He's also not a great shooter. Now, when he hits shots, they become almost impossible to beat.
He loves the 3 in transition, and the half court doesn't make nearly as many.
There's Anthony Bennett for 2. Nice stroke for the freshman who finished up at Findlay Prep with Shabazz Muhammad. Became the really hottest unsigned recruit in the nation once Muhammad went. Singler stripped away. Marshall is fouled by E.J. Singler immediately after.
Singler's going to see something today he doesn't see that often. Length. Mike Moser is a tough guy for him to get around.
The Ducks haven't trailed in a while. This is their first road game, as we mentioned earlier. And 4-0 their record. Last game out, beating Jacksonville State 67-45. Working around.
Let me tell you something. I watched him in practice last year in November when he wasn't eligible, and I said to Dave Rice, who's that? Because if I can take one guy home, that's who I want to take. I love Bryce Jones.
Bryce Jones wasn't eligible. He transferred from USC. Oh, my goodness. The freshman.
Are you kidding me?
All right, so Vegas takes a 9-2 lead.
They're coming into this place where UNLV can really put the heat on you, and then they got to make the game as fast as possible. Run on makes, run on misses, and force the pressure and the tempo.
How about the visitors from Eugene, Oregon, Doug?
Well, you can't let the crowd get in the game, which they've already done. But you know, now you get a dead ball. Now the crowd sits down, take him out of the game, and then you got to minimize Mike Moser. You cannot dominate the glass. That allows, if he dominates the glass, if Bennett dominates the glass, it allows the Reds to get out, leak out, and get transition buckets, which of course feeds the frenzy of the crowd.
There's Artis fading away and gets it to drop. Dominic Artis, the freshman.
Well, I'm sitting here saying, well, that's not a good shot on the road, and he knocks it down.
Last touch by Oregon. It'll stay right there with UNLV. Guys, Artis, a Findlay Prep guy, led the Pilots to a 32-1 record.
Well, I mean, listen. Okay, so Findlay Prep is a factory, so throw out their record.
Oh,
they got,
yeah.
They got,
Guys, they have.
They got fellas. There's two programs. Okay, Findlay Prep, Henderson, Nevada, about 20 minutes down the road. Okay, then there's Bishop Gorman, which Lloyd went to, point guard for Oregon. And that's actually coached by Dave Rice's brother Grant. Incredibly successful program.
And when you talk a guy like Lloyd, being from Bishop Gorman, he's a Las Vegas kid. Anybody coming out of Findlay Prep for the most part, they're from parts unknown.
Now Shabazz is a Vegas kid, but others have, Tristan Thompson and some of the Canadian kids, Corey Joseph, Mike Kabongo, of course, have come in from other places and gone to Findlay. You can come from anywhere, go to Findlay, whereas Gorman is a local school.
Bennett's from Cranston.
Oh!
Let me tell you something. You're not going to be able to get a ticket in this place this year. Forget it.
7 quick points for the freshman, Anthony Bennett. Any way you want it. Kept alive, but traveled. Kazemi had the offensive board and walked before he put it back.
This is your fear if you're Dana Altman. Off the inbounds, Tony Woods simply picks up the wrong man.
Miscommunication.
How about Kazemi? Welcome to Vegas.
Finishing down at the other end is Carlos Emery, the senior. Pull up three, won't go. And Bennett can't hang on to it. The last touch by Oregon, so it'll stay with UNLV.
Again, the first chance to see Arslan Kazemi, of course, transfers in from Rice, 45 double-doubles. Originally from Iran. Was just granted a waiver to be able to play right away.
Oh,
nice play.
Can't forget the inbounder. People do that. They forget about the guy taking the ball out of bounds. That was a classic mistake right there.
Anthony Marshall just reading the defense. Nobody looking, throw it off the bottom. And an easy layup.
Wow, Artis with 2 more. He's got 4 now. Work it back over, another 3 short.
All right, now slow down a little bit.
No, listen, this is Vegas. They're going to shoot themselves in and out of games.
Artis trying to do the same. Letting them bang on Marshall. They get it underneath the Reinhardt. There's a big 3 try. No.
I'm not sure if it's good, but it's entertaining.
It's very entertaining.
There's the former Rice Owl, unable to finish as he goes left. Kazemi had a full-blown beard in practice yesterday. Cleaned it off today before joining us at the Thomas and Mack. Gets another rebound, back-to-back rebounds on those 2 defensive trips.
Coach, every time he gets it.
He's trying to score every time.
Every time.
He's one of those guys, looks like he only passes when he has to.
Woods with his own board, fouled on the putback. He'll shoot 2 when we come back. But guys, 7 points for the new kid on the block, rocking the rim on that one. Anthony Bennett also hit a great big 3 in this one.
Science
Have cooled off a little bit, but still lead by 4. And for a program that only started up in 58-59, a lot of banners up in the rafters. Of course, LJ and company. Augman's back on the bench, 19 NCAA tournament appearances, 3 in a row. And of course, the gentleman right there in the middle of that group hug is Jerry Tarkanian. It's the Jerry Tarkanian court here at the Thomas and Mack Center. And there he is, guys.
Tark the Shark, 82 years old. Should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
He had one of the most incredible records, I'll tell you. I think he won like 80% of his games for his career.
706 and 198. Of course, he went at Long Beach State. He was a junior college coach before that, Pasadena City, and then at UNLV. And they used to play at the Civic Center back when it was the PCAA. And that place was 5,000 seats before they opened this up, and you could not get all the shows in Vegas. Tom Jones, Sinatra. The toughest ticket in Vegas back when Sidney Green was playing was the Civic Center, 5,000 seats.
And they played hard. He practiced for a couple of weeks without a ball, just on defensive slides. They could really guard.
Yeah. And then, of course, the later teams in the 1990s when they won the national championship and lost in the semifinals. Larry Johnson, Stacey Ogman, our own Greg Anthony, and Dave Rice.
Dave Rice, that's right, part of that 1990 national championship team, a 1991 UNLV grad. Was the associate head coach on a lot of good Dave Rose coached BYU teams. There's a steal, and that's the kind of play you get out of Arsalan Kazemi.
He's had 5 steals in the game numerous times in his career, Kazemi. He really, for a big guy, anticipates extremely well. You'll see it right here. He just knows where to be, rotating into the right spot to make that steal right there. Very smart player.
Part of that is a bad pass by Marshall as well, but no question.
First foul called on Anthony Marshall. And Emery to the line. 13-11. Carlos Emery had 9 in the win over Vanderbilt. They beat the Vanderbilt Commodores 74-48.
So this is how Dana Altman plays. You make a bucket or a free throw, they have 3 different types of pressure. They don't do it to speed you up, they do it to slow you down and take you out of your half-court sets. Now they fall back into a matchup zone.
Cross-court Jayhawk from the corner. Justin Hawkins can't get it to go. Rebel basketball. Fresh shot clock.
The Rebels are a great team to 3/4 court trap like that, press, like you said, containment press, and go back into a zone. For sure, slow this game down as best you can.
Lopez Sosa and Waverly Austin were banging in the paint. There's a whistle on the junior Waverly Austin. Semifinal number 2 in the Global Sports Classic. It's Oregon and UNLV, along with Coach Steve Lapis and Doug Gottlieb. I'm James Bates. Glad to have you with us tonight on CBS Sports Network at the Thomas & Mack Center. The number 18 team in the nation, the UNLV Runnin' Rebels, are ranked in the preseason for the first time, well, since Jerry Tarkanian was heading them up 20 years ago.
Kate Reinhardt, number 5 in the white. He will get him up in a hurry as well.
Floater there and an offensive board. Right back up for Quintrell Thomas. No. And fighting underneath is Kazemi with another rebound. Singler, long 3. Got it.
You know, we were ooh, ah, and now it's Oregon is ahead in this game because the tempo has slowed down significantly and they are running their stuff.
The run is 8-0 over the last, now 320 plus for Oregon. UNLV started hot, 4 of 4 from the floor. There's another 3 try for Hawkins. No.
Those are tough shots that he's taking.
They're not coming off interior penetration. They're coming off skip passes. It's not a good shot.
Yeah, you got to get something to the foul line area against this zone. Some kind of passing, something penetrating in there.
Let's see if the one-handed rebound by Thomas gets anything. Marshall about 2 feet shy.
So Oregon likes to run 2 things. One, their pinwheel motion. The other, is kind of spread you out, high ball screen, and then they'll run a set at the end of it. This is just a simple high ball screen with Arslan stepping in and posting up. But if you leave E.J. Singler, he is a deadly three-point shooter. He is the most important player on this team. He played the 2, the 3, the 4. But he's been coming around late because he had a knee injury that kept him out of the first couple weeks of practice.
And Justin Hawkins that time, Doug, really helping Wade. So you can't leave him alone. He's a very good three-point shooter. He's that stretch four-man that we talk about.
But he's also like his brother, just really tough, physical, had a good little post game as well.
Well, and his brother's been coming around as of late for the Pistons.
Spent a year in Spain, now back in the NBA.
Good ball movement there, unable to finish. Goodman down underneath. And losing that one is Emmer.
That was a heck of a pass by Mike Moser.
Watch 25. E.J. Singler with a little block. He does so many of the little things. Oregon's going to be an interesting team. You know, last year, I thought, frankly, they should have gotten to the NCAA tournament. They were a different team when they got DeVoe Joseph, a transfer from Minnesota, when he became eligible. He averaged 18 a game. You know, they were a dominant team in the Pac-12 at the time that he was eligible. This is a team that now, new pieces, Tony Woods a transfer, Zemi a transfer, Singler back. If the freshman guards can come around, they got a shot in the Pac-12.
Well, picked at the beginning of the season to finish 7th in that Pac-12, but
no way.
like you just said, yeah, that's...
Kane Reinhardt's not shy either. That was a good...
No.
He likes to put him up also.
This is the one issue that Vegas, the two issues I see Vegas having. One, no true point guard. And two, they got a lot of dudes who like to put it up.
Yeah. You know what? It's really bad to not have a point guard when you got a lot of dudes that want to put it up.
Yeah.
That makes it even more glaring than weakness. You need somebody to tie this thing together.
They work it around, back down to Goodman, who loses it out of bounds, 15-13. The Oregon Ducks on top of the number 18 UNLV Running Rebels here at the Thomas & Mack. And here's a look at this 2012 version of the Oregon Ducks. They lose 3 of the top 4 scorers from last year's 24-win team. Get 2 starters back off that squad. Of course, Singler and Woods. First 4-0 start since Ernie Kent's 2007-2018. And back in 08, the last time they went dancing and reaching the Elite 8 in 2007 and taking down a then-coached Lon Kruger squad in the process in St. Louis, beating UNLV.
Dana's been a very good coach for a long time. He's got some young guards, Artis and Dotson, but this guy, they run their stuff. And if they stay disciplined, which they probably will, they're going to give UNLV all they want in this game. There's Woods working down low on Bennett and call for the offensive foul, going the other way.
I'll tell you this, I've watched Tony Woods film. I've never seen him go over his right shoulder. Even though that's a charge, that's a win. That's a win for this coaching staff because they've been dying to get him to go over his weaker right shoulder.
And here back to this little kind of pressure that we talked about earlier. Just try to keep the ball in front of you. Make UNLV use up 12 seconds before they can get into anything.
And they fouled the big man, Mike Moser, in the corner, so he will head to the line and shoot 3 now.
How about we've seen 3 3-point shooters tonight?
Well, this is
these
an
2
act,
games get fouled.
That's an act, Coach. Yeah, that was an act.
You think?
Yes. Yes. Nobody touched him.
Mike Moser at the line, he'll shoot 3.
But Moser's interesting. You know, when he was at UCLA, Ben Howland thought he wasn't an athlete. Couldn't play at that level. No, I mean, listen, and
that's what he looks like. He's an athlete.
Yeah, he's very skilled and adept at rebounding out of his zone, you know. And he's a good face-up force. The other question for UNLV is, they got a kid sitting on the bench, Kim Birch, Canadian transfer from Pittsburgh, becomes eligible at semester. And many people in the program, including Dave Rice, said there are times when she's the best player in our program during practice. If he starts, they're going to play Bennett. Can't Mosier play the three?
He cannot, and I think that's going to be a problem. I think their ball handling will go down even. Their ball handling is a question mark now. Then it'll really be a question mark if Mike Mosier's playing the three spot.
One of the better defenders around, Justin Hawkins, whistled up a little bit too much from Lloyd.
I think what's going to happen is a guy like Carlos Lopez and Quintrell Thomas are not going to play that much.
Quintrell Thomas won't play.
And keep that rotation.
I really like Lopez. They have a wealth of riches. They probably have too many guys.
He was one of the most productive guys in the country. He played like 12 minutes a game and averaged 7 points.
He started a lot of Mountain West schools.
He would. Oh, definitely.
Well, not in there right now, guys, but we've seen big Quintrell Thomas. We've seen an effort out of him here early, and that shows.
He's lost some weight.
But that's what you're going to get out of him, knowing that he's going to be fighting for minutes.
If he sees what's there, if he wants to play, he's got to get after it. What was that?
The freshman artist taking advantage. And Dave Rice wants to talk to his team.
Where is the leadership on the floor? That's going to be the issue that Dave Rice has to deal with this year. That time they didn't. Oh, we got to get the ball to Caden Reinhardt now. He's the point guard now that Marshall's out. It's just that you really don't have. One thing about Oscar Belfield, he wasn't a great player, but he really was a solid leader.
No question. And he lost Chase Stanbeck as well,
yes,
who could play a couple positions. He shot 7 years in a row at Creighton. They won 20 games or more. And remember, he left once to go to Arkansas, didn't like it. Weeks later, came back, went to Creighton.
Singler got stuck, and then he gets it off to Dotson. Another freshman, Damian Dotson, and 2 down there for Oregon. Guys, but before we go too far away from the point guard talk with UNLV, you can't help but think Wink Adams, who for so long did such a great job of running the point here for the Running Rebels.
Well, when they were really good, they had Kruger's son as well, so they had 2 guards.
But you're going to see here, the reason why this is a bad decision to stop dribbling the ball. You'll see, go ahead, run it. You're going to see here, that's the worst place you could get stuck. You got the half-court line there, the sideline there. Just not a good situation to be in when the ball gets thrown to that area of the floor.
No, so the ball's got to go to the middle.
Yeah.
There's a man in the middle. There's a man in the middle. Hit the man in the middle. Anthony Marshall back in the game.
You can't trap a guy in the middle of the floor. You can trap him on the sideline, all right.
Skip Prosser, the only guy I know used to trap guys in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
Trap you everywhere.
Little zone on up.
1 of 3 now for Bennett, who hit his first 3 try from beyond the hump.
Yeah, listen, it's great that he hit a fadeaway 3 and the place went crazy. Hey, big fella, you're going to make money down around that area that has paint on it.
Get down there. You're a center who can make threes, not a three-point shooter who happens to play some center.
Or pump fake, put it on the deck, and I dunk on Kazemi. That's going to hurt Iranian-U.S. relations. They're already bad enough.
Marshall got his second. He's quickly back over to the bench. There's a nice shot from Ben Carter. Another Bishop Gorman guy. And we don't need this.
He's got a clinic going on in the half court.
All right, so this is the pinch post action. Freeze it right there. The pinch post action out of the pinwheel motion. As the roll comes, so now you got to help, and when you help, a shooter's wide open. It's a unique look. It's very similar to the triangle offense, which of course Tex Winter used during his time at Kansas State, and then an assistant with the Bulls and the Lakers. It's got a weak side pinch post action. And Oregon, if you allow them to get into their rhythm and run their offense, it's hard to prepare for an offense that virtually no one else in college basketball runs.
I think if you're going to take a key to stopping that offense for UNLV, you got to stop that high post flash. That's the key to stopping that offense. Keep that ball on that middle.
A little bit of trouble at the middle for Reinhardt. The turnover. And here come the Ducks, leading by 5, trying to add to it. But come up empty on that trip. 9:38 left in the first half here.
Now, if you're Dave Rice, you have to get Anthony Marshall back in the game and play 3 guards. Reinhardt's a very good player. One, he's a freshman. Two, he is not a point guard. Mike Mosier's a very good ball handling forward, but he is not a point guard. And the closest thing you have is on your bench.
Bennett down underneath again.
The heck of a move. He's got to finish that one. Go back to his left hand. Very smooth on that.
Back down to the freshman at the other end. That one won't go. Kept alive, though. And Reinhardt comes away with it. Will stay with the Ducks. Possession arrow pointing their way. So 35 to shoot here as Reinhardt took it down.
And here's what those first 2 games of the year don't expose. The competition that UNLV played. Those guys, the guys that they played, couldn't force them to see the things that they're seeing now with a lack of a true point guard. Because their athleticism just dominated. This is different now. Different level.
2 more for E.J. Singler. He's got 5 now. There he is on the defense, badgering, and Kazemi comes away with it to the corner. Dotson can't go. But the follow from Carter, yes.
All right, so this is turning into an epic and complete debacle for UNLV. First, let's start with the inbounds play. All right, remarkable coach with a unique style that's hard to prepare for. And he actually usually does it without a pure point guard, but his sets are made up to relieve those guards of pressure.
Altman, the Big 8 Coach of the Year back in 1993.
When you have a system, they needed that. When you have a system where guys know they're supposed to pass it here and cut there, you can get away without having a point guard. But when you're kind of freelancing like UNLV, it becomes very hard.
Mosier knocked it away, and they got a piece of Kazemi on the way out. So following up a Justin Hawkins 3, and the crowd on their feet here at the Thomas & Mack.
Well, Justin Hawkins here, and in that situation there, Oregon just fell asleep, really. That was way too easy.
A little too easy down underneath this time. Bryce Jones laying it in.
And so Dana Altman, they're trying to run the exact same play as the set before.
There's Singler drives. Leaves it right there for the freshman. That was pretty. Ben Carter able to finish it.
E.J. Singler.
Pretty good move by Singler, but I'll tell you, that's a pretty bouncy Ben Carter there.
You see pressure, the place is starting to go nuts. Put the ball on the deck and create a shot for a teammate. Great play.
Facing up Singler, Moser short, and the rebound to Artis. Dotson for 3. Rebound.
Nice pass. I like this Ben Carter.
2 freshmen combining there. The miss, then the offensive board, and handing it off to Damian Dotson.
But one thing about Oregon, they know how to give a clinic in the half court, and that's what they're doing at UNLV even right now. Make this game a half-court game and make plays out of your offense. Singler there with a great find of Carter. And nothing.
Damian Dotson comes in and beats him, and then Mosier just standing watching as well. Oregon is not only outplaying them on the glass, they're also embarrassing their backcourt and turning them over. I mean, the effort that is displayed at the offensive end by UNLV looks great, but there's not the same effort on second shot basketball. And an Oregon team that should not be in this game on the glass is beating them on the glass.
And what did Dave Rice say before the game? The hardest thing when we were interviewing him to teach these guys is that what kind of effort they have to give on every play. Yeah. That's what young guys don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Bennett's a marvelous talent, but we talked about Finley Prep a little bit. They line up with 10, 11 Division I players playing against teams that are at times undermanned. You're going against like an older talent.
Justin Hawkins, another three.
See that one?
The corner against that zone. Justin Hawkins that time makes another one.
Dana Altman worried out loud how his freshmen would handle this first road trip here in this environment. They've responded in a big way. Nice follow there by Waverly Austin. But guys, 19 points now of the 31 by the freshman for Oregon. And back down at the other end, and one for a freshman from UNLV in Bennett.
Now, Justin Hawkins has made a couple of corner threes against this particular zone here. They get the ball up quickly, and the ball, that was in the transition.
Anthony at the line, he'll shoot one.
With the shoulders on Bennett. You know, Eric Armstead, guys, is playing defensive end right now for the Oregon Duck football team. He was one of the best defensive ends in the nation last year coming out of California. He will join this basketball team when the football season's over, but you got to think that Anthony Bennett, had he grown up in the United States, may have played a little bit more football. My goodness, he's put together. And he makes another three-point play, so it's 31-27, under 6 to play in the first half. Bad shot.
That's not a good shot. The more passes that they make on offense, the better it is for them. Now you'll see Justin Hawkins making this corner jumper against the zone. Okay, you can run it. You see the screen on top. That's where it starts. That's where the stop it. The imbalance started right up here. Now two guys are guarding one, and that's why Justin Hawkins is wide open in the corner there.
And Anthony Bennett sealing his man inside also helps as well. That ball screen on the strong side and overloading the weak side is a trend in college basketball that's come over from Europe about 10 years ago. As critical as you can be of Dave Rice and leaving Anthony Marshall out too long against the press, it's a quality play out of a timeout in order to get in the bucket.
Nice quality trip for the freshman Bennett at the line. He now has a dozen, and he has them making some noise here in the Thomas and Mack Center.
That's a couple of bad shots the last two possessions.
Bennett on Kazemi. And Anthony Bennett calling for the over the back. That's his first.
Now I'm absolutely fine with that one. Fine with it.
Oh yeah.
The threes, you hit one, you're open, you get a rhythm, fine. But that's where Anthony Bennett is special. There are so few low post players that have not only the size but the skill. That's a good shot for UNLV.
He had a great duck in there. He had his man sealed up hard. Get in there and do that a little more often.
Singler working on Jones, short here. Keeping it alive, the freshman. And using the shoulder, trying to buy some space instead, buys his second foul. Does E.J. Singler.
All right, he's only hit that one big three, but Justin Hawkins' attitude, his aggressiveness defensively, has really kind of changed how UNLV's playing. He's forcing the point guard away from the ball screen, and then, of course, great energy in hitting a three-point shot. Of all the guys for UNLV, he's probably played the best and helped the most in this comeback.
That was the 18th foul for Oregon. Goodman turns it over. So not a great first half for the freshman from Philadelphia.
No, you know what guys don't do? Get into the flow of the game. Make some passes, throw the ball around, play a little defense, couple of possessions. Get into the game. Don't force the game.
Like that? Artist.
Well, Artist has been in the game, so he's in the flow.
good and whips it across the court. Hawkins is standing on the line.
So what's Dominic Artis? So he comes off a ball screen, he measures, Mosier gets back to his man, and people like to make fun of teams like Duke that take a charge, and John Calipari says they flop too much. But how about just one guy from UNLV planting their feet and helping a teammate out instead of everybody trying to block a shot?
There's Hawkins on the ball. Good pass. Rolls out the rebound to Carlos Emery. He'll shoot 2 when we come back. Oregon on top by 4. We'll try to add to it when we come back to the Thomas and Mack. Under 4 to play in the first half.
Go.
Oregon, the Global Sports Classic wraps up tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Eastern with the championship game between Cincinnati and the winner of this one, Oregon and UNLV. Who will hoist the trophy and remain undefeated? Find out tomorrow at 10:30 on CBS Sports Network. 78-70 our final earlier today. Sean Kilpatrick going for 32, a career high, the junior Bearcat. And Iowa State gets their first loss of the season.
Well, Iowa State in that game, they started out well, but Cincinnati wore them out after a while. That defense just took over, and Sean Kilpatrick had just an unbelievable game. Veteran perimeter team really took control of that game.
Yeah, and a team that's been to a Sweet 16 going back to last year. The interesting challenge for either one of these teams. All right, so now you're Vegas, coach, and you're going to assume that Carlos Emery, a transfer from Howard, is going to make these free throws. You know the pressure's coming. So you have Marshall in the game, you have Reinhardt in the game. You have to get the ball in the middle of the zone. Even if you throw it up the sideline early, the next pass should be to the middle or to attack on the interior against the press. You can't play passively against them.
I liked having a guard in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, I like being that guard.
Exactly. Get a guy who knows what to do with the ball in the middle of the floor and get it to him in the middle and then attack. You have to attack pressure. That's the only way you can make somebody pay.
Oh, wrong pass.
The only way to make a pressing team pay is to attack the pressure.
All right, so here the ball goes in the high post. Perfect. But you fake it down low, and then you throw it to Reinhardt wide open in the corner.
Pass faking is a lost art, by the way.
That's where...
Especially against zones, pass faking is the most important thing.
Down to the deck, Emery, and able to get the timeout. Timeout, Oregon.
Passes, UNLV looks stunned by the fact they cannot break through the multiple pressures that Dana Altman uses. Of all the coaching job Dana Altman's ever done, he won 21 games his first year at Oregon with 6 scholarship players. I don't care how down you think the Pac-12 was. That's an incredible accomplishment in that sport. This guy can coach, and you better be ready because his teams will be ready.
Well, he's given UNLV a lesson in how to control the tempo, that's for sure.
There's another rebound for Bennett, Anthony Bennett. UNLV a chance to chip away here. Nice strong pass down underneath the Moser.
That was a great pass, but you know, one thing you can't allow if you're playing zone is for people to sneak behind you. Sure. And that's what happened there. Oregon allowed Moser, didn't know where he was, snuck behind.
Oh, the 2-ball nice stroke from the freshman Damian Dotson.
He's going to be a good player, this kid from Houston.
Moser for 3.
You know, there's a little bit, again, a different offense. There's a little bit of Wisconsin to Oregon style in that it's not that they play slow. They score a lot of points. They just have a half-court offense, and they will execute it.
And they're efficient.
And they'll change their pace based upon the matchup as well.
Good hands there by Bennett. Wow. Guys, done a little bit of everything here so far. Retry, no. Moser's fighting. And so is Anthony. Wow, to keep it alive. Again a 3. This one goes. Bryce Jones drills one.
Oregon will run when they have it, but they also will do what they have to do to get a good shot in the half court. If it takes 30 seconds, it takes 15 seconds, but they're going to get a good shot.
Dana Altman getting into his guys because this cannot happen. One shot, watch the effort on the glass. One side Bennett, one side Moser. And just imagine you add Ken Birch to that mix in the length. And I told you, Coach, every time he gets it.
Yeah, every time.
Bryce Jones will shoot it every time he gets it, if possible. That's where you have to, even sometimes he's open if you're Anthony Marshall. You got to just nod and be willing to get the stink eye from him because you know it's going up.
Checking to make sure that was a 3. We'll take another look at it for him.
Let's see.
That's a 3. Oh, was his toe on the line?
I think it was a 3.
I think it was too.
Oh,
it's a 3. They're calling it a 3 over there. To start it, though, guys, the hustle play of Bennett. That's one thing, talking with assistant coach Justin Hudson of UNLV earlier today. The hustle stood out in games like that Jacksonville State game. And just 2-0 here coming in. But down on the deck to make that 3 possible. And now it's 36-34, under 2 minutes here in the first half.
I'd be surprised if Oregon plays for a backdoor cut as well.
Ugly, but an offensive rebound. UNLV comes away with it, Anthony Marshall.
Every time he gets
At least he was open that time.
That's Dijon Jones working against Ben Carter there. Whistle it up for the foul.
And here's, listen, Bryce Jones has a ton of talent. Spent some time at SC. Didn't get along with Kevin O'Neal, transfers to UNLV. But those shots you can take when you're a redshirt and you don't have to play in a league. And you miss a shot and the scout team loses, it's not a big deal.
Oh, no, yeah.
And I know he just hit one, so that one he's not as egregious of as some of the previous shots. I mean, literally, every time he's touched the ball, the offensive end, he shot the basketball. Hey, fella, let somebody else feel that leather.
But I think it all goes back to his leadership on the court. Even though Marshall's a senior and he's been a good player, it's just not it's not what he is.
The Rebellion, the student section here, trying to rattle the freshman from Vegas. He knows all about the Thomas and Mack Center. Good trip there for Ben Carter. And it's a 4-point lead for the Ducks.
He's been struggling all night.
Reinhardt still scoreless. And we'll go to the other end and shoot.
There are some incredible atmospheres in the Mountain West. Most of them at altitude as well, which makes them increasingly difficult. I know it's only 2,500 feet, but Vegas does have slight altitude, and it will affect you more than you think when you play here.
You know, it's funny that the kid from Marquette who had transferred here and was here last year and left, they probably could have used him this year, the point guard. I mean, it's early, but this is what we're seeing as we're watching this thing, right?
There's Kemper with a couple.
Frankly, UCLA has the same problem.
Yo, definitely. I saw that the other night.
Stuck down low, gets his own rebound and puts it right back to
You got Larry Drew, who's a two-guard in a point guard spot, and you got Kyle Anderson, who was like trying to play point that night.
This is what Anthony Marshall is, a tremendous athlete, and he's a competitor, a warrior, a defender. You can't define him by a position. And so while we say he's not a true point guard and he struggles to get others involved and to make easy rhythm passes, It's not to say he's not an effective player.
No,
It's just
no,
a
no.
hard transition
He's a
to
good
make.
player. And he's got 4 assists. He'll make the pass, but like you said, is he going to make just the regular pass
Yeah,
that's needed to
Can
be
he
made?
run it? Can he run a team? Can he run a team? All right, do you want to go 2 for 1 here, Coach? 46 seconds?
I like it. College guys don't do it very often. I definitely like it. If you get a good one in the first 8 seconds. Not any, but try and get a good one.
Next cut.
Cleared for Dotson. Dotson, no. Quintrell Thomas in there to defend. Who touched it last?
I don't think anybody saw it.
They'll give it to UNLV. Check that. Stand right here, 21 on the shot clock for Oregon. 31 and a half left in the first half. Dotson carried it.
Well, the weak side lob has been open against the zone.
Moser was trying to sneak back there a couple of times in this game that they didn't see.
Yeah, but now they got Hawkins in and Reinhardt, so they'll probably set a ball screen on Marshall when he gets it in the front court.
Three ties it.
If he gets it.
And blows the lid off the Thomas and Mack Center. 3 ball, short. Rebound.
Not
More
even,
time to get
not
a
even
good
close
shot.
to what you want.
Not even close. Had plenty of time to get a better shot than that.
There are 4 other players I'd rather have shoot that shot than Anthony Marshall.
That'll do it through the first half in the visitors. And here are your stats through the first half. Look at the bench points for Oregon. And a lot of those points from freshmen. Guys coming off the bench like Ben Carter, the 6'8" freshman from right here in Vegas.
But one of the stats that we didn't show was Oregon 15 points off of turnovers. That's a huge number, especially when you're on the road. Usually it's the other way around. You know, the team that's on the road gets turned over. In this case, they're turning over the home team.
And listen, I talked to the Oregon staff at halftime, and they're upset. 2 of 10 from 3 is unacceptable. They need to hit some shots. They should be up 7, 8 points.
Posting up Anthony Marshall. They started the game trying to do that on Artis.
Mouse in the house offense.
That's the first on Artis. Reinhardt. Well, he needs one here. Reinhardt still scoreless.
Yeah, they need him to make one. Got to find him in transition.
Dodging the bullet there. Singler comes up empty. Here's Bryce Jones. What's he going to do with it, guys?
Every time he gets it.
That should have been our first half stat.
Every time he
How many
gets it.
touches, how many shots?
Yeah.
9 touches, 9 shots by my count. Those are very unofficial stats.
Well, one official stat is that's 3 on Woods. Big Tony Woods. Big shot blocker for the Ducks has 3.
And foul trouble was a big issue for the Rebs in the first half, as Anthony Marshall picked up 2. That was one of the reasons that he spent extended time on the bench, even though they were struggling against the press. Coach, were you always a 2 and sit him down guy?
No, it depended on when they happened. If they happened early, I would definitely get him back in. If they happened late in the half, he'd be gone. But if he got him in the first 6 minutes, I'd want to bring him back for sure, because I hate having a guy out a whole half and then bring him at halftime and he's not ready to go. So it depends.
No hard and fast rule.
No.
Oh, picking the pocket is Marshall. Artis tried to cross him over.
I guess that doesn't count as a pass.
No, that's where Marshall is special.
Yes.
Tremendous competitor, on-ball defender, athlete. Every time he gets it.
That's not a great shot.
Not a great shot.
You can get that one anytime you want.
That's a bad shot in pickup.
One thing it does get is it gets number 4 on Big Tony Woods.
You know, I got to be honest, I watch this Oregon team, and I don't look at any one guy on their team as being indispensable. It looks to me like they got a whole bunch of different pieces.
What's the
everybody
shot?
does their job.
What the shot is?
Yeah, it's a bad
nobody
shot.
else has touched the ball. He shoots it from the shark fin. That's the kind of shot you shoot a pickup ball, and dude stop running back on deep. Come on, man. No.
Oh, he did shoot it. He thought about it long range, drove it to the rack, an offensive board and a foul. And that's number 3 on another big Waverly. I'm sorry, that's on Kazemi, they'll call it. That's number 1 on Arsenal. Bennett perfect from the stripe thus far, 4 of 4.
Little full court pressure of their own now. Mosier's a tough guy to come and trap you because he's all arms and legs, very long.
Wow, Marshall denying. How about the hustle?
That was so good defensively, James. That was really a terrific play by Anthony Marshall. He was almost beat there, and he still was able to beat his man to the spot and make this deflection. That is just great defense.
And E.J. Singler's a good, tough, low-post player. He's kind of a hybrid.
No whistle there. You know what's nice for UNLV guys is when you do need to spell Marshall, be it fouls or just to give him a breather, you've got Justin Hawkins coming off the bench, who's a great defender as well. Reinhardt going down to the deck with Artis. Oregon comes away with it.
Oh, that's 3.
Bryce Jones, and we're going the other way.
That's bad.
That's back ball. Yeah, that's back ball.
He stepped to the side. I wasn't even close to being a good call.
That is a blocking foul. We talk a lot about this point of emphasis here. That guy is sliding. Artis is sliding to his left there, and that is not a charge. That's a blocking foul.
I'm with you.
Takes away what would have been a try at a three-point play. It is 41-40 UNLV, who leads for the first time since 1650.
Is that what I thought it was?
No, it's not amazing. Listen,
No,
John
that
Adams,
doesn't happen.
who's overseeing the officiating, will tell you there's no such thing as a makeup call.
That's
So the possibility that that's a makeup call.
No, it's not.
And
No
everybody
possi-
watching think it's a makeup call. It's not.
It's not.
Okay? It would seem that way.
I was a little fooled.
And it was the same exact official who realized that he made a poor call at the other end, but it wouldn't actually be a makeup call.
Justin Hawkins is returned for UNLV.
There you see our trends. The Ducks led by 9 at one point.
Boy, if he would just look opposite
Thank
once
you,
in a
Coach.
while.
I
I
mean,
mean, there was somebody, I don't know, I think it was Justin Hawkins, was wide open on this side of the floor. Look opposite from the low post.
Coach, you're exactly right. So Bates, here's the deal. When you throw the ball into the high post, okay, and here's Mosier right here. This is a passing position. Look, there's 5 Ducks right there.
They're all there.
There's somebody on the weak side. Get in the high post, throw it to the weak side. You know Bryce Jones is going to shoot it.
Look up. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about, but that's a good shot.
Look
From
opposite.
inside out, or you can ball fake and drive it. or then you can take that shot. But that's not a good shot.
No.
The ball never leaves one side of a zone offense.
The most important thing to do against a zone is make that zone shift by reversing the ball.
Coach, you saw these Rebels quite a bit last year. Was it a team that shared the ball a lot better last year than we've seen so far here tonight?
Yes. They did. They did. And you know, Jay Stanback was he was not the volume shooter that Bryce Jones is.
Yeah, he would get... This is that offense, okay? The pinwheel motion where you can roll a three-man in the low post. DJ Singler calmly taking a shot.
Belfield made a difference. And now, let's say this, too. It is their third game of the season. You know what I mean? It's a brand new team. It's a third game of the season. They have a lot of talent. Belfield was a calming influence without question. He almost made the Knicks this year. It's not like he can't play. He was the last guy cut from the Knicks.
Dejon Jones trying to walk it off as he was fouled hard. They can't lose him, guys. They wouldn't have anybody to shoot it.
Oh.
He's a little antsy. Give it, you know, let's take it easy on him.
First big television game. There is something else that's hard. As a guy who transferred, but I didn't sit out at the school, but you sit for a year. And you got all this kind of pent-up emotion. You've been watching everybody else, all your friends play on TV.
I bet, yeah.
It's one of those, we've seen some transfer, Will Clyburn play poorly today for Iowa State. It's a lot like, it's almost reliving your freshman year again, where you so want to make the right impression, want to make the right plays.
And as we said, this is the first real game for these guys. The games they played before, they couldn't lose in a million years. These are real games.
Well, Jones broke his hand on a dunk not too long ago.
He didn't
he's
practice
just getting
that.
back into the action.
He did not practice that much either.
Connor's got to make that, got to dunk that.
Here's Hawkins, long three ball, no. Nice rebound defensively for Carter, and here come the Ducks. Singler's all alone in the opposite corner.
That was not good transition defense that time.
No whistle, still letting them go. Wow.
Anthony Marshall trying to call timeout, but he didn't have the ball.
Well, the effort from Anthony Marshall. He is football strong, football tough, and the Rebels trying to fight, scratch, and claw back into a one-point lead in the Shark Tank.
To make a $10 donation to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, CBS Cares. Well, Doug Gottlieb, Steve Lapis, Oregon up by 9 at one point in the first half. Went to the locker room up 3, and now UNLV back on top. And
that's the second one Singler's gotten on the exact same, very simple out of bounds play. Made one in the first half, but just barely missed one in the second half.
Well, they got Justin Hawkins in the middle of the floor now.
Better. And Moser's a good passing big. Those are 3 decent ball hands.
Yeah, that's a good way to attack it, I think.
Moser hard bounce pass, and Goodman can't come away with it. There's Singler. Well, Singler and Marshall right down on the deck, just as they were right before we went to break with the last whistle.
I got a pet peeve about this. Singler was trying to pass that ball. He didn't realize that he had the possession. So he could have risked the turnover there trying to pass that from flying down. Just hold it, let them tie you up. It's your ball anyway.
He did.
But that's he's trying to pass it first.
Yeah, but he didn't see anybody
Then he got tied up.
Yeah, but he didn't see anybody open, so he held on to it. I agree with the thought. I think in that particular instance, I'm going to say E.J. Singler didn't throw it for that reason.
Okay. Other end steps back, misses. Scary there. Marshall had Kazemi underneath him. Nice. Feed to Hawkins and finish it. J-Hawk does it defensively, whipping it around. They love him some Justin Hawkins here in the Thomas and Mack Center. Carter's fouled as he goes left by Moser. That's number 1 on Big Mike.
His first personal, second team foul. Ben Carter.
Ben Carter's another Vegas kid. There's a wellspring of talent in Las Vegas. You know, Seattle has been producing by kind of the dozen college players, a ton of pros from the Seattle area. You look at a guy like Ben Carter, who played at Bishop Gorman. So too did Jonathan Lloyd, who's sitting down. And of course, you know, Dave Rice, who's from Las Vegas, played at UNLV. He's the head coach at UNLV. His brother's the head coach at Bishop Gorman. And Bishop Gorman's high school where Shabazz Muhammad played. That was one of the reasons that many people believe Muhammad wouldn't end up here at UNLV playing for his brother.
Also the best high school basketball uniforms I've ever seen.
Oh, is that right?
And orange and blue like my Gators coach.
That's why you like it.
No, that's not the only reason. They're sharp. And for those wondering, like the football team at Oregon, there are a few choices, but not as many as the football team. 8 uniform choices are what they have for the basketball team, which is more than most.
Yes, I'd say.
Their arena is, if not the nicest arena in the country, I would challenge somebody to find a better arena. And Oregon's new arena is only 12,500 seats. They didn't overbuild it like so many buildings that you can't build.
They're calling it the Mac Court now. It used to be the Mac Court. Matthew Knight. Now it's Mac Court.
That pinch post.
Oh, wow. Here's the reverse for Emory. Long 3-try. Reinhardt.
I came at the right time. Go, come on!
Bryce Dijon Jones and Anthony Bennett back in the ball game.
Guys, Reinhardt had missed his first 6 attempts before hitting that big 3-pointer there.
He's also a volume shooter. Get it going from 23. At a modern day. We'll talk about great uniforms and a powerhouse. Gary McKnight's always had one in Orange County.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas tries to come over the top to deny. Kazemi gets fouled, so he'll shoot 2.
I mean, you'll see Quintrell Thomas here really do a bad job on defense. He lunges for the steal here, and that's what allows Kazemi to get the ball. You got to know that he's got it. He went after the ball and then ended up out of position. That's why he fouled him. You got to know when to go for a steal and when not to.
Now, Kazemi, guys, of course, transferred in from Rice and was granted a waiver. Only missed 2 games to be able to play right away.
Why is that? I have no idea. I can't figure this rule out.
What's crazy about the waivers is they're, you know, it's on a case-by-case basis, and there seems to be more and more players are being granted this waiver to transfer, which of course is causing more and more players to transfer.
I know when I was coaching Doug, nobody even bothered applying for a waiver. It didn't exist. There was no way.
Well, just the idea that you get a waiver because you want to play when your grandma, your mom, or somebody locally is sick. If she's sick, then you should spend the year taking care of her and then come back and play basketball.
Nice jumper by one freshman at the other end. They go back down to the freshman Ben Carter, and he's fouled.
I'll tell you, I like this kid Carter, too. He's going to be a good player. He's athletic, plays hard.
A much better offense from UNLV. You find the high post.
And that was a good shot. He was open, but you see the weak side of the floor? There were guys open all over, but that was a good shot. He was wide open. I'm not saying he shouldn't have shot that. Get the ball to the foul line area against the zone.
The waivers may help encourage people to transfer. How much does the fact that these guys are told how great they are throughout high school, how great they are, and they come on campus and they're not on the floor early, And so rather than fighting to get out on the floor and
that's
working hard.
no question, James.
Sure.
That doesn't exist anymore. When was it used to be when we were younger, you didn't become a good player till you were a junior. Now, if you're not playing 5 games into your freshman year, you think the world's going to end. How about you hang in there and see what happens? That doesn't exist.
Charge.
Reinhardt.
I feel very strongly about that because I've had a number of kids who, at the beginning of their careers, didn't pan out, and in the end, they ended up being good players. And you know what? They say, "Thank God I didn't leave."
Well, the worst ones are the ones that transfer after, Oregon lost a kid last year, Jabari Brown, who's going to play at Missouri. He plays a couple of games and then he leaves. What do you know about how a freshman year is going to work out if you leave at the end of your first semester?
You have no idea.
Yeah. The rule should be you can't leave at the end of your first semester. You want to stay? You want to leave at the end of your first year? Fine, go ahead, leave. Then you sit for a year.
First semester is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Show me one college freshman that's happy to be away from mom and dad, period.
Anyone, in anything. Regular students.
Right. Except for those Lapis kids. Long 3 ball, got it. Wow, what a big one from the freshman Dotson. Damian Dotson.
I never had to worry about the social aspects of my kids' lives, that's for sure. That was never an issue.
Reinhardt works it down to Jones. Jones, a big miss.
Every time.
Dotson.
What a play by Carter.
3-on-3. Marshall will push, but he's fouled before he can blow by.
Well, Oregon has started to really spread UNLV out, get into their offense, penetrate pitch, and even the freshman Dodson steps up. The Ducks all hopped up on Quack.
GLTE is the
Runs their offense. You're going to see Kazemi get the ball at the high post, and I'm going to tell you right when to stop it. The ball's going to come in here, right now. Stop. And Savon Goodman here trails his man. He turned his head to look at the ball. When he turns to look at the ball, his man is by him. That's why they end up making that layup. So the freshman turned his head to look at the post, lost his man, cut to the basket.
It's called the Pinwheel Motion, and Jack Hartman invented it. Of course, he was a longtime coach at Kansas State. And Dana Altman was once upon a time the head coach at Kansas State. Johnny Orr also ran it during his time at Iowa State. Very difficult offense, has some aspects to the triangle in it. And that weak side pinch post in the triangle and in the pinwheel, they call it the blind pig. You hit the high post, backdoor cut, blind pig.
I loved what I saw today. I had never seen Dana Altman's team run through their stuff and a shoot around. I love the way they ran. I love how hard they ran their cuts. They were running full speed, their offense, full speed everything.
.11:47 left to play. This is the second semifinal of the night. Cincinnati winning 78-70 over Iowa State earlier tonight.
Interesting that Dana Altman's going to go with Tony Woods with 4 personal fouls. He just wants to get some use out of him.
Why not? The other big guys have played better than him all night.
Wow.
He made a nice play there.
Woods, a transfer from Wake Forest. Strong right hand. He's going right 9 times in 10.
Nice shot fake there. I think they have a lot of big guys that are interchangeable, Oregon.
Back down to Woods they go, averaging 12 points a game coming in.
All back that shoulder.
He started out with a 5-foot jump hook, ended up with a 9-foot jump hook. Physically, he got just pushed off the block that time.
Reinhardt, 2 more.
And Reinhardt's not shy either. The difference would be that as he's had so many of these threes rattle in and out. And he just missed the jump shot. He's 1 of 8 on the night. Drive the basketball, take a nice little mid-range floater.
And a poor closeout by Kazemi that time. He couldn't stay in front of him.
I think what Kazemi's going to go through is, even though he had 45 double-doubles at Rice, it wasn't a particularly high level of basketball. Not necessarily just in Conference USA, but they weren't a very competitive team in Conference USA. Now, here's where you're Anthony Bennett and you're a freshman. And you got to understand that when the UNLV coaches give you a scatterboard, you listen. He's going to his left shoulder every time. So jump that shoulder and plant your body and fall down. and you get the possession the other way.
He should be exaggerating it to the
Correct.
point where he just jumps, tell him, you're going to go this way. You're not going this way at all. I mean, he wanted to get there so bad, he gave him that little extra so he can get to his left shoulder.
4 now for Woods as Bennett will take a seat.
But there's another thing you don't get when you're, even if Findlay Prep is well coached as they were last year, you don't get really hardcore scouting analysis, you know, with things like synergy. But we're going to tell you 92% of the time he's going over left shoulder. When you get that information, you have to learn to process it.
For sure. That's a terrible shot. Wow. Now that's a bailout. I didn't think he got, I don't know where the foul was there.
There was no foul.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
No worry, there's a makeup call coming the other way in a minute.
Same ref.
That's 4 now, guys, on Singler. So both E.J. Singler and Tony Woods with 4.
Those fouls that guys would call would drive me nuts. The guy's in a bad spot. He's going to take a bad shot. He gets bailed out for no reason.
Moser looking for just point number 6 right now. And he really, even against those lesser teams, yet to find any kind of a rhythm to start.
Well, E.J. Singler going to sit with his 4th foul. He's the most important player for Oregon.
That's for sure.
And, you know, Oregon has had to deal with the fact that they haven't had E.J. Singler for the first couple weeks of practice because he had a knee injury. And, you know, he's one of the few players who really knows the offense. They couldn't help each other.
Oregon with the ball and a 3-point lead, get it denied. Here's Marshall behind the back in traffic, right to the rack, no, can't finish. Rebound, Artis.
That was not going to be a good pass by Artis. He throws the ball to Kazemi like 15 feet from the basket where he would have had to put it down, gather himself. He should have just pulled that out. Not a good play by the point guard.
So now he's not really a point either, Coach. The difference would be, and he had a turnover the previous possession. The difference would be that Dana Altman is used to having kind of scoring combo guards. His favorite point guard of all time, a kid named Ryan Sears, played for McCreighton. Was kind of his John Paxson type. Could do all the things necessary just to be a point guard, but was an outstanding shooter scorer.
Zemi goes left, he's fouled. Quintrell Thomas gets him on the way down. That's number 3 on the transfer from Kansas.
I like the ability Kazemi showed there to put the ball on the floor.
Oh, he's an athlete.
He was top 50 in the nation last year in free throw attempts, so he can put the ball on the ground. That was a pretty impressive play.
He shoots 2.
Zemi part of a group of foreign players who've had a mass exodus from Rice. Ben Braun lost an assistant, lost several foreign players. They finally stabilized themselves last year for the mass transfers.
We saw one of them early. Jermaine Sanders for Cincinnati, a guy who started out at Rice. Hit a couple shots in that Cincinnati win.
And the kid just got eligible for USC, or Ubby, the big kid. So yeah, a lot of losses for Ben Braun.
Moser kicks to Reinhardt. That's 2 on Ben Carter, and Reinhardt will shoot. You know, you talked about Matter Day earlier, Doug, and big news in football, of course, the quarterback situation there at USC. Both Matt Barkley and Max Whittick are Matter Day guys, and it'll be Whittick taking over the reins for USC, trying to knock off Notre Dame on Saturday. Reinhardt did it on the hardwood there. It's the Global Sports Classic semifinal, the second from the Thomas & Mack Center tonight on CBS Sports Network. Along with Steve Lapis and Doug Gottlieb, I'm James Bates. We've got the Ducks and the Running Rebels going at it. Up next, don't forget it's the Great Alaska Shootout. We'll send you out to Pete Gillen and Brent Stover. First game is Belmont and Northeastern. picking up his third down at the other end.
All right, Coach, you make the call. Arslan Kazemi, is he outside the circle? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Pretty good. Scott Thornley made the call. Scott has he's been an official over 25 years. He officiated in Final Four. It's going to be his last year officiating college basketball.
He's had a couple of mine over the years.
(16-0) in the regular season. UNLV at the Thomas and Mack last year, and they're trailing right now with 9:16 left to play against the Oregon Ducks. Guys, let's revisit our keys to the game, starting with the Ducks.
Well, my keys were don't let the Shark Tank get rocking. Don't let them get runouts and dunks. And though they trailed early 9-2 and the place was about ready to explode, for the most part, they've kept UNLV fans, the Rep fans, out of the game. And they've minimized Mike Moser, who hasn't done much offensively.
And UNLV has pressured the guard. They forced some turnovers, but it has not been enough to get Oregon off their game. And that's been the problem. Usually the Rebels, they haven't been able to stop Oregon from getting into their half-court offense. When they're really putting the pressure on, people can't run their stuff. Oregon's been able to run their stuff.
Dana Altman's team right now led in scoring by a freshman, Ben Carter. There he is right there with the rock. True freshman from Las Vegas. Here's Woods still playing with 4. Boy,
he looked like he got the memo at least.
Yeah, well, that different defender.
Yeah.
But you know,
he got the memo.
At least Quintrell Thomas realizes he's going over the left shoulder. And then he reached. Good position. You made him go to his weak hand. Quintrell Thomas has played long enough to have 4 fouls.
Issues 1-1. What's there in the ball?
big number on Thomas coming in was the amount of rebounds he's had in minutes played. And switching that over tonight.
I like the stretch of Vargas.
Reinhardt picks his pocket there, though. Under 9 we go. Little glass action for Reinhardt. The 2 with 4, banging down on the block.
Coach, when do you bring E.J. Singler back in?
I'd go another 2 minutes.
There goes Woods.
Or something happens to his lead.
Thomas. Guys, they were banging and ringing up Thomas. Number 5 for Quintrell. He's done.
If I can keep it tied or less.
So here's Woods. And Woods trying to establish position. Yeah, it's a play on. Nah, it's a play on.
I think it's a foul.
It's a play on. What advantage?
I thought it was a foul before that.
Yeah, but what advantage is really gained?
They talk about physicality in the post.
I just heap praise on Scott Thornley. Just sitting here having a conversation. That was a bad call. I didn't know it was.
I think it was a good call.
What's the point?
He stopped if he couldn't get position in the post. He wasn't even able to get there.
One of 2 on that trip for the senior Woods.
I keep Singler out as long as his lead stays where it is.
Yep.
Reinhardt, another 3. Try. Got it. Second of the night.
Reinhardt has really picked it up in the last 6 minutes. But you see Caton Reinhardt here. He's starting to feel pretty good about himself, that's for sure.
He was 1 for his first 8. Right? And then he hit a pull-up jump shot in the lane. He hit a mid-range jumper. He missed a 3. But you see good balance, good range,
And he in 14 regular season games last year. That one loss was in the Mountain West Conference Tournament, which was held right here against the New Mexico Lobos. The Lobos picked to finish third in the preseason in the Mountain West. UNLV picked right behind San Diego State.
Heck of a year for New Mexico. Last year, winning the league, winning the tournament. Yep. Ohio State getting in the tournament. Nevada. So UNLV will get a chance to play Nevada twice this year.
Nevada has a really good guard named Deontay Burton.
Yep. Two good guards.
Yeah, Malik Story pretty good too.
Carter does a good job there on Moser. Getting kind of chippy down underneath. Whistle blown, and the Rebel fans trying to bring their team back in this one. They trail by 1.
I just moved in with his family.
With 7:32 remaining.
Well, the three-point shooting obviously leaves a lot to be desired, especially for UNLV because they rely on it so much. Over 40% of their attempts are from the three-point line on the season. So if you're going to take that many, you got to make it.
Now, Tony Woods just fouled out, and that'll allow Ben Carter to play some more. Although it looks like E.J. Singler's going to come back in. Another big story has to be Carter, a freshman from Vegas, played down the street at Bishop Gorman with 12 points already in the game and 5 rebounds, including 4 offensive boards.
Yeah, he's been terrific.
All that 19 minutes for Carter. And here's another freshman who played his high school ball in Vegas last year at the line, Bennett. And as we come back, there's Ben.
I might have waited one more possession, one more time down to see before I bring Singler back in, but Dana Altman knows better than me about his team.
We remind you, coming at you next, the Great Alaska Shootout. Trent Stover and Pete Gillen are waiting by Belmont and Northeastern in that first semifinal there. Here in Vegas, the hometown team has the lead back at 63-62 as we near 7 minutes remaining.
Wow. Move there. Tough move.
Emery.
Big play. Nice cut. The middle of the zone. Go at the middle of the zone.
I like that Dave Rice has his veterans on the perimeter. Reinhardt's hit a couple shots and leaves it in, but Moser, Marshall, Justin Hawkins.
Freshman goes scoop with the left for 2 to quiet him for a little bit.
Bad turnover there.
Dotson will push up to the fellow freshman and unable to finish there is Artis. Guys, Artis.
That was a really good call from, again, it's Scott Thornley. Talking about it, maybe an official too much. But with 2 players falling out of bounds, it's good recognition. As Damian Dotson, Artis tried to jump in and draw the foul, and Damian Dotson is falling in bounds, and yeah, ball went off his head. Mosier threw it off his head at the very last second. Good call.
But if you're going to run into someone, run into the Kenny Rogers lookalike. Ducks up 1. They led by 9 in the first half. We've had 13 lead changes in this game. We can make it 14 with a bucket here from UNLV. Corner.
Oh.
Not a good shot.
No, high post. Mike Moser, 43. Touches the ball every time down the floor in the zone.
Lloyd goes down to the deck, keeps his balance, keeps the ball, but can't get a point there from Dotson on that trip. Here's Moser. Reinhardt raining it down.
Reinhardt's been the player of the game, really, in the second half.
Reinhardt just took a singular elbow to the mouth. There he is on the ball, on single. EJ drives and kicks it. 3 tries, no. Wow, there's your hustle guy coming in, and a foul coming up on UNLV.
And the Las Vegas bucket comes when Mike Mosier breaks through the pressure. He gets the ball, breaks through the pressure himself. He waits till just the right moment, delivers the ball in rhythm. And Reinhardt, who started out 1 for 8. Now 5 for 13.
You got to give him credit. You know, a lot of times freshmen start out bad and they end up bad.
No. He's got a little. He will shoot it.
Plus, he's home. If you're going to recover from a bad start, easier at home than on the road.
A very, very confident kid.
Nice trip for Kazemi, and we're tied at 68.
He came running in for that rebound. That was a heck of a chase by Kazemi to get that rebound. Kazemi overmatched right there. That was big time.
Anthony Bennett now has 20. His running Rebels have a 2-point lead. There's Lloyd. Lloyd, another Bishop Portman guy. It's Kazemi on the run. Hey, hey.
I thought he got hacked there, too.
Yep. So right back into Bennett. Getting him or Mosier a touch every time down. Nope.
That is a horrendous shot.
Ducks push to Emery. Emery gets it.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Attacking the basket there. Not a blocking foul. Defender was moving.
Flipping it over and sending it down. And one.
Area of the floor is in the middle of the zone. And now, if he can't get a shot there, look how open Anthony Marshall is on top. Or the other wing there, Caden Reinhardt. Get the ball to the middle of the zone and then attack.
And the other part about it, Coach, in that clip is the ball starts on one side and then is transitioned to the other side. When you make the zone move from side to side, that's when those gaps become bigger, and you can do it via the pass or the dribble. But every time down the floor against the zone, the ball should get to the high or the low post, or that short corner area.
Absolutely. Now, nobody's even in there right now. Somebody's got to go in there.
Good job there by Carter to move and cut off the baseline as Moser drives.
They're running a ball screen action to try and get a weak side jump shot for Reinhardt, and Oregon adjusted to it.
No whistle there.
That's a poor pass. That's 2 tough plays that Anthony Marshall has made in the last 3-4 minutes.
He'll turn it around, and running Rebels need a stop here now. Under 3:30 to play. There's fight. A little bit too much, though, over the back of Justin Hawkins.
Tremendous blocks out by Justin Hawkins. This is something that I think the average college basketball fan, you may miss because you're not in the building. But you have Emery come flying in, and Justin Hawkins, this is just like taking a charge, giving up yourself for a teammate, for your team. That is a picture-perfect box out.
And he gets rewarded with 2 free throws.
Regardless of whether or not he got rewarded, though,
they were going to get the ball.
Correct. He doesn't do that. Oregon has a layup. if you're Dave Rice, you have to seriously consider it. When you play top-level competition, UNLV has a pretty good schedule here before they get to conference play. I don't think you can play Jones and Reinhardt together. Otherwise, no one else will touch the ball. And they don't do the little things that Hawkins does. And Marshall does defensively.
I think that's a good point, and that's why that's who we're seeing out there right now.
But it's one of those things where in nonsense exhibition games or in practice, you get away with it.
There's Hawkins on the ball on Emery. There's Dotson.
Beautiful offense.
Artist through the lane, left it for Emery. Here come the Rebels.
Good foul on Singler.
Singler just got 5. He's
That's
done.
a bad foul. He's got to know better than that.
Yeah. I don't think he fouled.
I didn't see the replay, but it looked to me like he fouled. He grabbed from the floor.
Let's see.
I think he grabbed the leg.
Loose ball.
Right.
Yeah, that's not foul.
That's a tough.
Incidental contact. If the guy falls down,
That's tough.
it's an automatic. You have to call it. But because
Nothing happened.
Yeah. Basketball is a contact sport. It's not a collision sport like football. It's a contact sport.
So 7 points for Singler. He's done for the night.
Well, they always talk about this thing, advantage, disadvantage. There was no advantage there.
Right.
Back down to the other end with Justin Hawkins. He's hit 3 big free throws in a row, and we're tied at 73.
I agree with you, Doug, wholeheartedly. With their point guard situation being what it is, you have to have Hawkins and Marshall out there together.
Yeah. Hawkins makes winning plays.
Yeah. And you know
I
what?
don't care how many points the other two throw in, and you need scoring, you need offense, but you have to have guys that buy in, share the ball, and make winning plays. Otherwise, you can't run any offense.
And you play the one that's playing good.
Right.
Reinhardt's playing good, keep him in. Bryce Jones does it another day, you keep him in.
A great job by Hawkins tonight, artist of basketball.
Dotson gets some space.
He's a big-time player.
Dotson played at Houston's Yates High School, so you know he's been in some tough gymnasiums in his day.
That is now. Why would you do that?
Kept alive, though, and putting it down is Bennett.
He's a force.
Altman wants a timeout, trailing by 1 with 2 minutes left.
So you get a terrible shot from Caden Reinhardt. Anthony Marshall, if he's not in the game, they have no point guard. Okay? On the other side, okay, they also have Bryce Jones, terrible shot selection. He shoots it every time he gets it. And Caden Reinhardt will shoot every time he gets it. Both have explosive scoring. But here's the positive. Justin Hawkins competes. Marshall competes.
There's a lot of positives.
And Anthony Bennett competes. It's just, can you get the guys to play together? And that's what you get paid for as a coach.
Yeah. And it's early. They've only played a couple of games, so these are things they can work on. But
this is a perfect tournament as Cincinnati is waiting. Cincinnati goes to the Sweet 16 last year, and even though they don't return 2 starters, they do bring back Sean Kilpatrick and Kashmir Wright, and a gritty, tough Big East team that can play you fast, can play you slow, and can beat you if you don't bring it. Whichever team advances tonight.
Kilpatrick went for a career-high 32 earlier tonight for the Bearcats. Dotson right out of the timeout.
it's a little too easy.
That was a set from Dana Altman. Cleared out the weak side and created a beautiful driving lane.
Got to get somebody to that foul line area.
Here comes Mosier.
Reinhardt 3-ball. Yeah! Oh, oh, oh. $18 for Caden Reinhardt. Two-ball, Dotson short, rebound, Moser. They'll push it at the other end, and Bennett can't finish. 2-on-2 for Artis. And stepping back, Emery strokes one off the glass.
Wow. Huge shot for Reinhardt. I mean, he has unwavering confidence.
That's for sure. I think they got to find him now. Be a little bit closer to him.
Yeah.
Well, this kid starts out playing so poorly in this game, and now as the game has gone on, has gotten more and more confident, and that's not good defense for a guy who's been making some shots.
Mosier gets to the top, passes to the wing, and then flashes to the high post. But does Dana Altman stay in the zone, or does he switch to man?
He's man right now.
Right. So now he has to switch his play. Now, would you put in a man and a zone play?
Yes, you have to be ready for both.
Look at that. All 18 in the second half.
And I think they are ready.
Yep.
High ball screen.
Good pass.
Kicking it out there to Jayhawk. Justin Hawkins just rolling out. And last touch by Bennett. He couldn't pull it down.
That was a good shot.
Now, Altman has one timeout, but you don't want to burn it here. Just play. You run a set. You got to break through their pressure, get into a set. Of course, they're playing without E.J. Singler. He's their best offensive player.
If you get bogged down, then you use the timeout.
I think he wants a high ball screen.
5 seconds, the differential. Shot clock, game clock. Dodson spinning, fading. Wow, give it to me, says the freshman. And he drops a quick 2. 19 left to play.
UNLV.
So Dana Altman was waving to Dodson to go to the weak side because he wanted him isolated on Caden Reinhardt, who's a non-defender. And he gives it to a
In 20 years.
Well, you know right now, Oregon's going to be man-to-man because they're not going to give up some open 3 and lose the game. I'm guessing they're going to be man-to-man. And they're going to run that high ball screen again like they just ran with Anthony Marshall on top and try and get something going to the basket. At least get 2 free throws out of it.
I'd go quick, though, because then you can...
Got to go quick.
They'll do just that, Marshall. Can't
They got a
finish.
foul.
And they foul Dodson. They get to Dodson with 6.3 remaining.
You can't get a better shot than that.
Oh,
I mean, he ends up with a complete layup that he misses here. Goes with his right. He's left-handed. He's got to make that.
Wow.
Got to make it.
Got to make it.
Damian Dotson at the line. He shoots 2.
Yet to shoot a free throw in this game, Dotson. And that was just his 4th free throw in college basketball. Now 3 of 4 on the season. How about these freshmen here tonight? Damian Dotson steps up after a bucket last trip down. Knocks down 2 free throws and gives the Ducks a 4-point lead.
Dotson, Artis, Ben Carter. Boy, it's a good team.
It's a good team, and Dana Altman pulled me aside, and he says, what do you think about Dotson? I said, Coach, I've seen a little on Synergy, very little of your tape. I said, he's really, really, really talented. And I believe in him. And, you know, you look at what Dana's trying to build, and he's yet to have, 4-year guys. He's had to take transfers. And last year getting DeVoe Joseph and having him for just a half a season, he had to make do. Now you have you're starting to build the building blocks of your program with Dominic Artis and with Damian Dotson. This is a heck of a win if they can hold on.
And Ben Carter. Throw him
Ben
in there,
Carter,
too.
those are 3 quality freshmen.
Quality.
Freshman tonight for Oregon, guys. 44 of the 83 points. There's Hawkins. A 3 that misses, and the freshman Artis will pull it down. And how about this win? For a team picked to finish 7th in the Pac-12, they come to Las Vegas and stop